I didn't tap it quickly enough to get that. Ma'am, we don't go in there.
You
That's
do
what she
not
said.
need to go in there.
Hello and welcome. I am Rick, and you're listening to Probability of Demise. We're a group of storytellers who use Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition to provide rules and structure to Atland, a world of our own making. Atland exists on a version of Earth thousands of years into the future, an octopolar planet whose residents barely remember the natural and man-made disasters that once left their world nearly uninhabitable. This is a world far different from the one you know today, a world of new magics and ancient spells, young gods, and primordial deities. Thank you for coming with us as we explore it together. And before we jump into a little musical interlude, and I've messed up the order of everything all at once like I should, heads up, we are missing one member of the cast. We don't know if they're going to be able to make it because of power outages in Utah. I had some enjoyable power outages here in the Pacific Northwest recently as well. So this is what
Enjoyable.
happened. Yeah, well, not so enjoyable.
Enjoyable power outages is not a term you hear very often.
Yeah, it wasn't bad though.
It's
wasn't
like
terrible.
camping, except you're inside and it's hot.
Except it was cold. And you will notice that we do have a new member of the background cast.
Hey, come here.
Introduction complete. Jason or Alyssa, do you want to introduce the most
I
glorious?
think she's in there. There you go.
I don't know where she went because she's.
Just whining to get into the kitchen.
Yeah, so there's the new fluffer.
Yeah.
Right now.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, right now we're trying out Buffy.
Because our other dog is Willow, if you didn't know, so we have Buffy and Willow.
I mean, it's either that or the other Willow and what was it? Willow and
Yeah, Elora Danan is too long. Elora Danan is the baby from the movie Willow.
yeah, that would not work. And you don't really want to call it Laura.
Yeah, the rescue went with Half Pint, so that's kind of her name right now, but he doesn't answer to it, and it doesn't really roll off the tongue. So
We still got a list of names we're working through.
Yeah, she's adorable.
or just Hey Dummy. That's what I call my dogs. Ever since I watched Parks and Rec, I said Hey Dummy to my dog all the time.
If I put you down, are you going to go whine to get into the kitchen again?
So you may hear background accompaniments to the various things that are going on, and that is all due to TBD temporarily Buffy, maybe something else in the future. I'm going to start calling
AKA
it
Buffy,
TBD.
AKA Snips, AKA.
That's okay.
Yeah, but very adorable. So transition, music, lights, camera, actions.
Boom.
I always forget about the second one. It's like the.
Oh, it's new, so you haven't had enough time to really play into it, I guess. So again,
Yeah, always. Sorry, I shouldn't speak in
we'll change
absolutes.
it anytime now. We can change that up with another musical interlude that makes everybody happy.
I like it.
Instead of the
I like it
like
too.
video game jiggle music.
Well, if you ever decide you want new music, you could ask Nick. He's got a whole slew of DJ equipment now. So
Oh, really? That's cool. But yeah, welcome back to Probability of Demise. As I introduced before, really quickly, a reminder that we will not have Jess in unless she suddenly materializes. She is currently experiencing a lovely power outage in the Utahs, where she is starting up a really exciting, what you
Gap.
call it? Gap?
Job.
Job.
Run.
Job. I was like, gap.
holiday
Oh.
gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a new gig, and it's
Hashtag afterlife.
hashtag afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
I said actor life, not
Oh.
afterlife.
I heard afterlife. I was like, oh.
Oh my goodness.
I am mishearing things already. This is going to be great.
Just thought, I heard you like mumble it, and I thought I should clarify that I was not talking about the imminent demise of Jess.
I mean,
This is probability of demise.
probability
so.
of demise.
I mean, she did, hide under a dragon's ass a week ago, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't. Was that last week?
2
Or
weeks ago.
Or Jess? She's not here to
3
defend
weeks ago,
herself,
wasn't it?
so we can malign her all we want, right?
I don't know anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you're at all interested, I'm doing this introduction for her as an announcement. But if you're all interested and in the Utah area, she's going to be at the Toucan Center for the Arts, and they're doing a holiday event using the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So if you are in that zone at all, that also applies to people in Las Vegas. It's really not that far away. You can get over there, and you don't need to be in Vegas 24/7. But they're going to be having a whole bunch of characters from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. If you think of that old school claymation film, from Santa, Hermie the Elf, Bumble the Abominable Snow Monster, and Rudolph. But it's a definitely fun thing that they're doing in the indoor Hafen Theater. So you don't even have to go outside and be cold. And if you want to check that out, it's at toucan.org, TUACAHN.org, which is hilarious because that's a lot of silent letters.
Is it like Tuacahn?
It's like Tuacahn. If you like pronounced it
Tuacahn Center
phonetically,
for the
it'd be
Arts?
Tuacahn, but to me it looks like toucan, like the bird. I don't know. But it will be running from November 25th through December 22nd.
Free Fruit Loops with every ticket. I made that part up.
Fruit Loops. So
Toucan.
again, November 25th through the 22nd of
Toucan
December.
Sam is the extra character.
And you can pop on over there and check that out if you would like to. And see Jess
Yeah,
live.
Jess. We'll put it in the show notes also.
Yeah, I didn't tuck it anywhere yet. So somebody will have to do that because I'm going to forget by the time we get there.
Also in the comments of all of the channels right now.
All of the links, all of the posts, all the stuff, all the things. Oh, nice. On all the channels. Wow, you're super fast.
Well, there is an all channels button on our streaming software.
Hey, I was giving you extra credit here, and now you just outed it as like a super easy thing to do of copy and paste. All right. So that takes us to our character and player introductions. Of course, I will not be introducing Jess because she's not here, but she plays Tanzanite, a haughty but less and less so over time, elvish, pale moon elf style woman who is harboring the seed of godhood within her and trying to explore and figure out if those things might be possible and trying to grow her faith and see what may occur. In addition, we have the two members of the cast who are here today as I gloss over everything. I don't know who I'm going to get because it all depends on which way the puppy goes. So this is also the fifth
Go
character.
with Jason right now.
But Jason, who's playing Asher, would you like to introduce your character really quickly?
Hello, I'm Jason, and I play Asher. Thank you.
How did Sex Find come back so fast?
Oh, Sex Find, our second biggest fan.
Jesus.
Sexfind.biz is not a site that we promote. Don't look at the comments. Thank you. Goodbye.
It's been removed and will not come back. Maybe.
It's our favorite spam bot. I feel like we're being stalked now. That's 2 weeks in a row.
That is 2 weeks in a row.
We might need to go check the comments on the recorded session that went through last week or 2 weeks ago.
They were there.
I don't know, but we should probably find out.
Oh no, I looked through the YouTube ones. I didn't see it. So as long as it's not, I honestly don't even wait long enough to figure out which channel it's coming from. So it's probably on the YouTubes because I didn't see.
I spent a lot of years of my life sex finding, and all this time all I did was wait for this podcast.
All right, and that's Asher in a nutshell right there.
Pretty much. Asher is a poet who's learning how to use haikus or has learned, I guess at this point, how to use haikus to do magical things. And yeah, that's that.
Asher expanding the repertoire of magic through poems.
Arg.
Piloting the way forward for all future magic users. Sure. And then we have Larissa, who plays Trixie.
I'm Larissa. I play Trixie, an anthropomorphic red squirrel monk. I like to hit stuff multiple times in very quick succession. Also, if I may segue into
Yeah.
announcements that I have.
Yeah, segue away.
Yes. No, I'm just kidding. You said segue away. I'm going to segue away.
Kill me.
We're gonna spend $1,000 on a Segway just for next week, so Larissa could just go behind.
She's gonna like have it every
Across the
time
living
she has
room.
to.
That'll be my entrance. Just.
I'm just worrying about the damage to your walls as you like don't. I mean,
Rude. Are you saying I wouldn't be flawless at riding it on the very first try?
I've seen
Have
the
you
three
seen
of
me
us
roller
walk
skate?
in general. Some members of this group run into nothing. Some members trip over nothing, and I'm just imagining putting it on fast forward with a Segway. It's just not going to happen. Actually,
I trip over nothing. I don't run into nothing. I don't run into.
no, I run into nothing.
Yeah.
You trip on nothing. I'm not honestly sure what Jason does.
I run into stuff a lot.
Jason runs into everything.
Larissa's special skill is falling down the stairs. Mine is running into stuff.
Oh, I almost did it with the puppy yesterday. It would have been so bad. I don't know, something about the first like half step. There's like one that's shorter and gets me every time, and then I start like going, and I ended up this time I had to jump, and I like ended up jumping down probably like a yard, and I thankfully like was able to kind of cushion my fall, but I was in Birkenstocks. I was not like at the gym trying to do freaking whatchamacallit. I don't know what where they like do the rope and the tires and all that.
CrossFit?
Yeah.
I feel like we could go on and on forever about New York stairs because none of them are actually quite accurate. They're all just slightly off.
No. So anyways, in lieu of, dropping the puppy or throwing the puppy or landing on the puppy, I ended up like frog jumping off of and like crushing my ankles for a good half hour. But anyways, upcoming events for Melodia Women's Chorus and Stonewall Chorale on November 20th, which is a Sunday, 4 p.m. at Church of the Holy Apostles in Chelsea. Melodia will be performing their winter concert named A Winter's Welcome. The program is intended to bring you through the transition from fall into winter. We've got fabulous musicians. We've got fabulous actors performing poems by, let's see, I'm trying to think. I think we've got Robert Frost. We've got Shakespeare in there. Mary Oliver, Maggie Dietz. So some really great stuff going on. Stonewall Chorale's winter concert is on Friday, December 2nd. Also at Church of the Holy Apostles in Chelsea. The concert is at 7:30 p.m. and it is called Oh What Fun, and it is a bunch of holiday songs. We're trying not to leave anybody out, so if you enjoy a good Jingle Bells or some Hebrew pieces, we've got a Kwanzaa piece, we've got a my favorite is Hanukkah and St. Monica. We've got a classical piece. So it's a very full program, and it should be a very fun concert. So if you want information on either of those, you can go for Melodia Women's Chorus. You can go to melodiawomen'schoirnyc.org. And for Stonewall Chorale, it's stonewallchorale.org.
So you're doing Hanukkah and St. Monica at
Santa Monica, yeah.
Santa Monica. I think I either misheard or I just brained, or I did hear.
Or I said it wrong.
You misbrained it.
I misbrained it. But isn't that the song that is like, it's like, so every year I pack my gear and come out here to Purim.
I might have to check. Hang on, let me look it up.
I don't know. I think it was
You stall. I'll look.
Oh, totally. Because and then it's like spending Hanukkah in Santa Monica by the sea. That's the only line I really remember.
That sounds right. I I guess we went over it at a couple of rehearsals that I may have
Yeah,
missed.
it's been a long time since we've even looked at it because it's not very.
I think-
It's not like super challenging.
It's not difficult. They've also sung it before, and I think the majority of the people who have sung it before were in the chorus at the time and are in the chorus now.
It's like a humorous,
Yes,
fun
yes,
song from
absolutely.
the
It's just like a
60s.
very punny song about like
Yeah.
Jewish holidays, basically.
I
spent Shavuos in East St. Louis, like just a bunch of
That-
rhymey puns.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of fun. I don't think I've listened to a choir sing it ever. I think I've heard it in like little piano bars and stuff like that. Dueling pianos. I think I heard it at a dueling piano bar. That was
Right, Rosh Hashanah spent in Arizona. Yom Kippur way down in Mississippi.
Those
Yeah.
Eastern winters, I can't endure them. So every year I pack my gear and come out here till Purim. Rosh Hashanah, I spend in Arizona, and Yom Kippur way down in Mississippi. But December, there's just one place for me. I'm in the California flora. I'll be lighting my menorah like a baby in its cradle. I'll be playing with my dreidel, spending Hanukkah in Santa Monica by the
By
sea.
the sea. Yep.
nice. Well,
Good times.
It's like, hey, we got to go down a lyric rabbit hole.
Well, it's 16 minutes and Jess isn't here, so we can stop stalling.
Yeah. We weren't really stalling anyways.
I know.
No,
we
We're
this
not
is
gonna
pretty
get a word of the
standard
day.
for us.
Yeah, 16 minutes is like 16 minutes of banter is a fairly mild
Yeah.
intro for us, I think.
I don't remember who I was talking to the other day when I said that I was talking about our podcast, and I was like, "Yeah, we spend the first like 15 minutes talking about anything but D&D."
So we will not be doing word of the day, but we will. Are we going to? Will we roll for commercial?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
I love that. I love the commercial part. It makes me so happy. Sometimes it's probably not like our most epic of commercials, but even when it's just like mediocre in terms of like maybe we're just trying to read it quickly.
Yeah.
Jason writes such fun things that
I
it
just
doesn't
rolled a
matter.
nat 20.
I just enjoy it.
Damn it! So you pick the topic because that's what we roll for first, right? Unless I also roll a.
Then it'll be roll ace. But please don't roll
No,
nat
that
20.
was a 2.
Ooh. Oh,
So
so
you
I'm going to be really safe here. I'm going to be totally safe unless I roll a 1.
One.
I'm just rolling a d20.
Electronically.
Yeah. That one was so close. I rolled a 13, so I'm solidly in the middle. I am in the safety zone. Hey, I was going to roll my dice, but I loaned them out to my nephew because he wants to play some fun things with the dice. So my real dice are currently in use by small child.
Do you want me to send the giant bag you left with us?
Nope, I'm good. I'm good because I may have already been.
I
collecting
almost
out
stuck
here.
it in that box that of the stuff we sent you.
No. Those are your dice now. That's your babies.
I just typed in random product generator on Google and was not disappointed. How about cast iron? Wait, cast iron flash drive.
Well, it'd be rugged.
Underwater wall tile. This thing's kind of fun.
What about?
A putty hammock? I think
That's
it's
what she
just
thinks about that.
A putty.
randomly matching materials with products. I think
Let's see. What about?
concrete rocking chair.
Ooh.
How would that even work?
The good news is none of the things I write about would actually work. So
Yeah. True.
remember
What
the drawers within drawers.
about? Tiefling.
No, you're the reader because you were low, right?
No, the
Mhm.
first roll is to pick, and then the second one is to determine who reads. The first one's to pick the item, right?
The high roll picks the
High
item, low
roll.
roll reads.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Sorry.
So you're toast.
Hmm.
He's got to choose something to torture you with. No choosing something to save yourself. I do like the idea of putty being the substance something is made of, and then
I'll
it's
tell you
an
what.
awkward,
I'll
like,
surprise you.
underwater putty.
Oh, great.
Oh, good. Even better.
I'll think about it.
Then you need to walk the
Surprises.
puppy during the break so that I can actually read this before I have
When do you think I'm gonna write it?
He writes it during the break usually.
All right, another cold read. Yay!
It's all fun. All right. And that takes us to roll off for the recap, which I have successfully avoided being in trouble for this. Oh, 15. Plain old 15.
13.
Okay.
Cocked. It would have been a 16.
Wow, is it all the
14!
You got this, Jason. You got this.
Just remember, I'm writing you a cold commercial.
What?
Hey, the dice told us what to do. Wasn't her. I love how it just
I remember where
focused.
we ended. I'm trying to remember how we got there. I'm walking it back in my head.
Now walk it back, and now walk it back, now walk it back.
So we're sitting in our house,
Now walk it back.
Mhm.
chilling. We were informed probably too long because the world's falling apart, and
Oh yeah.
we got a bunch of rumors about things going wrong. And the one that we chose to pursue first was there were people who thought that the Overton Alliance had like sent dragons to attack their community, so they've been like raiding smaller villages along the shore of like the ocean inlet that Overton is near, like that the lake lets out into. Essentially, we teleported using the portal to Overton and spoke with Trixie's former teacher / her dad's former second in command, who's like training the army, and he told us essentially that he gave us like a little bit more information on the stuff and like what was going on, and then we basically got a plan to like misdirect, because we think there might be a spy in the military to that's like telling them where the military is going to be, because they're never in the right place at the right time. Like they always seem to miss them at the last second or something. So our plan is to like loudly publicize that we are going to be on the next patrol boat to stop these people, and then we're going on one of Grant's boats to secretly try to get attacked by the raiders. The end. I think that was pretty much it.
Now, was there any? I think that was.
And we named ourselves the Timeless Trio.
Yes, and there is a name that is being propagated as the Timeless Trio. So the three of you are at this point boarded the ship. I think we can fast forward.
I think we were boarding like at the end of we were waiting until nightfall to board.
But I feel like this is a good time unless you had something you needed to accomplish before leaving Overton. So time jump, you are aboard the ship, set sail. Now, before we fully time jump, you were going to utilize Grant's captains and crew to get the ship going, right? You weren't going to try to do it yourselves,
Correct.
or were you going to?
Yeah, it was just going to be like a trade mission where they were just going to go. They hit a shipload of gemstones. They were just going to go try to do what they were going to do with the gemstones, and we were just going to hide along.
Yeah.
Probably I will have dimension doored into like the hold from a warehouse, so that we're completely unseen getting on the boat. So
like peeking through the window of the warehouse, then dimension dooring into a window within the cabin that like maybe the captain's holding open, so that you don't actually have to see it. You just have to be able to visualize it. So if I like was familiar with the ship layout, I guess I could do it. But okay.
Although, wait, I would have to do that twice because I'd have to go back 3 times. Never mind. This is a dumb plan. I don't have that many spell slots for Dimension Door.
Okay.
We're just going to have to sneak on. I retcon. Sorry. I'm done. Never mind. My bad.
Undo. Command Z, Control
Yeah,
Z.
Control Z,
Yes.
Control Z, Control Z.
Control Z, Control Z. I just forgot I can't bring 2 people with me in a Dimension Door, so never mind.
All right. So the 3 of you board, and I would just like a group stealth check. I will roll for Jess, just to see how successful you are at being sneaky.
I'm
I don't
feeling.
really have anyone that's sneaky, right?
I'm not feeling very good, so I'm going to have to feel lucky because that was a 2.
Well,
that was a 5, so I'm going to just go with it, I guess. Damn it.
Woo!
we'll see what Tanzanite rolls, because Tanzanite has
Tanzanite has decent. Like, I feel like she's always the stealthiest one.
Well, she has the shadow thing now. So
She has the shadow thing now,
Right.
which helps her out with that.
Can she help me out with?
She previously had disadvantage, but the shadow thing gets her out of that, and she got a 14.
23.
23. Okay, so I'm gonna
And
take
5.
those.
Wait. Oh, wait. My modifier. Oh shit. 11. Never mind. I have a good modifier. I know how to play D&D.
Rick, I can't take them anywhere.
I love it. It's like I'm like, okay, so the total of that is 48 divided by 3, and I'm sitting here just.
Sorry.
So the group self would have been a 16, which is decent. It's decent, especially on a busy dock and
Above average.
with a little bit of support that you may or may not be aware that is happening. If you want to know what was happening, you can try to roll a perception check. But
Since there was time, can I say I set something up before we tried our attempt to get on the boat? I want to say there was like a band at the other end of the pier that just like started rocking out like a Bard's Guild.
if you had done that before you had rolled,
All right, never mind.
I would have given you advantage. But because you did it after you rolled,
It's not my fault.
too
My brain
late.
is slower. Gosh.
Yeah, you all make it on board and set off at a pre-dawn hour. I'll say is when the boat actually leaves. They need enough light to be able to see, but not terribly much light. And you start sailing. Is there anything that you're going to be trying to busy yourselves with once you leave sight of land, or are you just along for the ride? What are you all up to on this boat trip, if anything?
I don't know. I think we're just gonna probably stay like either in the hold or below, or sorry, we're having a puppy thing. I think we're just gonna try to stay in the hold or below and like not let people see us, at least, especially until we're like way out to sea. Like
Okay.
after that, it's maybe not as much of a big deal. But
Yeah.
Asher will probably like change his armor to be like more sailory, so like not his distinctive clothing that he usually wears.
Are you doing blue and white stripes?
With the little hat, with the round hat.
Trixie,
Historically accurate.
what are you up to, Trixie? How are you?
I guess I probably would have been like poking around to see if there was actually any like goods and stuff. I know. I think he mentioned there was gemstones on it, right?
Yeah.
I was just gonna like peek around and see if there was anything shiny that I thought, I don't know, maybe depending on what Tanzanite's up to, like seeing if there's anything she'd like or.
So are you like sneaking around to pluck things, or are you just like casually looking?
It's just cash. It's like
Okay.
it's kind of like when you walk into Tiffany and Company. You don't plan on buying anything, but
Yeah.
you do earnestly look.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check, and then I'll describe to you a little bit more depending on how you rolled.
What am I doing again?
Investigation.
Investigation.
So you have the time, and you're like going through and looking.
9.
Nah.
Actual 9.
What I would say is that you quickly realize that all of the goods are packed away within crates,
Boo.
keeping them well stored. And with a 9, I'd say that you do find a couple of crates that are a little pried open, and they contain potatoes and turnips.
Potatoes.
I take one of each.
All right, add a potato and a turnip to your inventory. Because nobody's
be
watching
like-
those 2 crates.
It's gonna be like 11 sessions from now. She's gonna throw a potato at someone and save us all.
Thank you, baked potato.
Roll for missile attack.
Roll for hot potato. All right, so your travel continues on over the next couple of of hours, and the first day is pretty uneventful. Could I get one of you to roll a D100? Doesn't matter who. We'll give somebody else a turn later.
Where'd it go? I cannot find it. Hello?
The big giant one.
Yeah.
Those of you who don't know or who are new to the podcast, Jason has the coolest D100 ever. It's a legit D100 with all 1 to 100 on it.
All right, you ready? Be right back. Hey, Rourke.
Yeah.
What is the answer to the life, the universe, and everything? 42.
42? Is it 42?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure. Perfect. So with a 42, wow. Yeah, the first day of travel actually works out really well, or the first full day of travel. Once the sun rises, strong, warm winds blow the ship along its course, and you have a really pleasant sail. Definitely making time, and on a 5-day trip to get into the location where you're trying to get to, or not the end result of the merchant's travels, but the zone where these acts and raids have been occurring. We subtract 1 day of travel with a nice hot breeze blowing all day. Nice little strong warm winds. Cool. So unless there's anything you're trying to do in that day, the day ends. If you're doing any night watches, that just let me know now. We'll use that later for other reasons. But at any rate,
do we know what we're in our? Or I guess we could have asked this crew as well. But do we know what the pattern is, or the MO is for the attacks that are happening? Is there any consistency that we can expect to?
Based off of the conversation that Tanzanite had with that one guy?
I mean,
it was a lot of, we heard they were there, so we went there, and then they weren't there.
Intelligence check to see if you can decipher the relayed information from Tanzanite, because Tanzanite's here. She's willing to share what she heard, and she shares it very clearly. But just roll an intelligence check to see if you're able to kind of quantify what was said.
I'm assisting to see if I can possibly understand.
17.
I rolled a 16, so.
Okay.
Wait, without my what was it? What was the intelligence?
And I think with Tanzanite's going to roll a history check just to see how well she recalls the conversation and joins in this conversation between the three of you. We're using rolls to avoid having to. It's kind of fun to roll for her though. She's got some fun stats. That was almost a nat one. She got a 19 plus 1, so her recall is fairly solid. She seems to know what she is talking about as she shares with you parts of the conversation. And amongst the three of you, you're able to triangulate the idea that initially the raids were working their way from the west inward towards the lake. But they hit a point at which, for one reason or another, that the raids ended, but they were occurring fairly regularly for every 3 days. And then they paused at one of the major settlements, and that major settlement did not get raided at all. And then they continued raiding the smaller settlements, these small little outlying farms. Like when I say settlements, I say 2 or 3 outbuildings. Nothing larger than 2 or 3 outbuildings was ever a object of these attacks. But because these are food sources that are precious to the people of Atlan right now, as dragons can come through and scorch vast tracts of land at any moment, protecting any sort of source of food and resources is very important. But they stopped where the forest that is the other end of the forest where Bonnie was. They stopped there and the raids ceased. And that's where they were having trouble tracking them and trying to figure out where they were going to hit next. And it has been a week since the last time those raids have occurred. And the coast is overdue for another raid. So if they're going to hit, they're going to have to hit something either past the forest, closer to where the lake is, or they are going to have to go back to the larger settlement that was skipped in the initial raids. So that's where your quandary is. Do you try to patrol the area where you would presume that they would be continuing on to, or do you circle back to the skipped location?
I would say we will probably want to, like, we don't want to look like we're patrolling, so we want to sail the coast like where they've been active, I would think, and just like look like we're moving along.
I mean, I guess it depends. If it seems like the natural route to get to that skipped town, then I would say yes. But otherwise,
But like, have they been hitting ships or just towns? Because I know they basically have canceled all trade because of this, but I don't know if they're not hitting ships, why they would do that.
To your knowledge, they're not hitting ships, but ships aren't making it through. They're turning back for one reason or another. And you're talking to the crew?
Yeah, I mean, we would.
Just
I think
go
we'd
ahead
be trying
and
to
roll a general charisma check to see what you're able to pick up from various crew members. Not that this is going to be hard for you.
23.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I did roll an 18, so
should just
my
default
check
to
bonus
the
is
fact that he's always going to have an awesome time with these types of rolls. So checking in with the crew, you find that the trade is new to the people of Overton on this scale. They relied on other shipping partners on the other side of the ice wall before the ice wall's breakage, that you know about very well. And those shipping partners generally carried out the longer trans-bay trade. Your knowledge as you've been...
Sorry, I just messaged Larissa a screenshot of my plus 15 performance and persuasion bonuses.
God.
Sorry, go on.
Dark times for any sort of... well, you got the face for the team. You got lots of heals.
Oh, Asher does. I don't know if I
do. But so overall, you just are aware that from picking up conversations, checking in with folks, jovial little side conversations with the crew over the first 2 days, that you have a sense that it's not so much that they were ever hit, but that the fear of being hit has caused them to shut down, because they're not confident with oceanic travel despite 4 or so years. A little bit more for some crews, but in general, the traders are not very confident in their seamanship skills, and they're not certain how to engage in ship-to-ship combat. And the idea that these little small farm outposts and crafting locations have been razed or people killed, it's enough to get the merchants to lock up shop a little bit prematurely. There's a little bit of a fear in that space. And this crew... I think I'll throw this in there too, just so you're aware. They're emboldened on this trip because of your presence. The Timeless Trio is good puppy. The Timeless Trio is enough of an inducement for them to feel confident that whatever they face, you all can handle.
So New Belgrano is the city, right? The big city that they skipped.
New Belgrano is the one that they skipped.
So I'm going to say that as long as my companions don't disagree, my instructions would be to sort of cut, like you go through the little, I don't know if you want to pull the map up or not, but go through a little strait that goes out of the lake after Overton and cut, like make a wide angle up towards the shore so we don't like fuck with that navy that is in the forest right there. And then just go along the shore past New Belgrano and out like to the end of the land there and just see what we see. If we can either come upon them, raiding towns again or get them to attack the ship or whatever. And I think that while we're doing that, we would all want to take a good long rest, so we may not participate in at least the first day's watches and such. Because I know we did some stuff before and we haven't rested yet, so we'll probably take the first day off if we can. But I guess well, it takes a couple of days at least to get across the lake, so maybe we are rested by now.
Well, you were able to cut off one of those days with the first day's weather travel, and I would venture that one of you, actually it's Larissa's turn. Larissa, can you roll a D100?
Do you want me to bring it out to you?
No.
Buying all of you a giant D100.
Okay. 96.
96. Okay. Let's go and grab that and go down, down, down.
Down, 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 down.
Once you get out of the lake area and you burst out into the larger bay, as yet unnamed, because I thought that the players would name it eventually, so I'm leaving it to them. Just
Bay of Pigs.
The bay.
What's the Norwegian word for pig?
It's
I don't know that word. I don't think I know like other words, but did you say gris?
GRIS. Gris.
Yeah, that
Gris.
is not part of my
Gris.
baby Scando vocabulary.
The pronunciation says Gris.
I mean, Rain's Theater is what I dealt with, so.
Bay of Gris.
The bay.
We don't really have to do that. I just.
That sounds like the Greasy Bay. I'm just imagining what that would be over time.
Yeah, we got rid of that. That's how the world ended 3,000 years ago. Is the greasy bays and oceans.
So what I'll say is, and I'm gonna do the screen share thing if I can find the right buttons, because there's lots of buttons.
I mean, is it a bay or is it like a sea?
It's a sea. It's an inlet between two peninsulas of the main. So I don't know what you. It is what you decide to call it, honestly, because I think. Yeah,
The deep sea.
I was gonna say that.
Because what you've got is to the north is the Legend Ice Bay,
Okay.
the south is the Rostorm Sea, and the outlet would be the Amundsen Sea.
I feel like it would be maybe it. This is freshwater or saltwater?
This is all saltwater. Even the lake has turned to saltwater at this point.
Okay.
Because of the flowing of
Whoops.
liquid. So
I'm sure that makes drinking water super fun for Overton now.
there were consequences, but they're also at the base of some mountains. So
Snotty ass kids breaking the ice dam.
Yeah, so this location right between is where the ice dam was, and
We could just call it the Belgrano Sea.
The Belgrano Sea, that works. So as you sail up through the Belgrano Sea, you are gaining new information, finding out new things. But on the second day of travel, really puppy time, as you're hitting just about right where the actual picture of a ship is, and you're just kind of getting out there, the winds shift, and it's no longer warm winds from the southeast, but it's rather cold northerly winds that blow, causing the ship to have to tack back and forth quite a bit. And it's not the cold season, so you're able to cope, but it is very chilly, and that cold slows you down just a titch as the crew become a little bit less reactive to the various things going on. And so you just make a regular day's travel as you cross over those areas. eventually getting to a point where you know that you are north of the forest, or at least far enough west that if you went straight north, you would not hit the forest.
Okay.
And if you're heading towards New Belgrano, is that true?
Yes.
Then I'll just have you roll, one of you or both of you, just roll one more D100 just to see how the travel goes. And we'll use this as the last random travel fun. Because so far all you're getting is weather.
68.
79.
68, 79. Oh, those are on two sections of the same part. So 68, okay. Immediately following the cold, gentle breezes blow, and it does slow the ship down, but it's much more comfortable and the crew is much more effective.
I would like to assist the crew by singing rowing songs. Or sailing songs, I guess. I guess they're probably not rowing.
I love the idea that it's rowing songs like row, row, row your boat.
Make them sing around with me as they're like tacking the sailors. I don't know what.
Go ahead and just roll a performance check just to see how, if it catches on and stuff. You might be the beginnings of a new series of rowing chants.
Oh no. I'm making up
33.
30. Of course. 33. Yeah. We'll use that as a little bit of mitigation as well, and they're taking advantage of every inch of wind headed their way. They're able to pull out additional sail and really make some good time, and I'll say that cuts down travel a little bit. And on the last day, you missed all the bad ones. How did you just like hit the good ones? On the last day, a nice wind picks up again, but a gentle and warm rain begins to fall. So over the course of this, and then you're within sight of New Belgrano.
Safe to say we're long rested by now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Damn it, I should have used more lucky points on that boarding the ship, but oh well.
I think we were okay.
The crew would like to throw you overboard. They've heard too much of this song. I like that. All right. I'm gonna keep that off.
Sit.
So within sight of New Belgrano, you've been resting through the nights as you've been traveling. Nothing untoward has occurred so far.
I'm going to suggest that Trixie climb up the mast and see what she can see.
To see what I can see.
Trixie.
Bye-bye.
You head up the mast?
Sure.
Okay. Describe to me what you're doing, looking for.
I guess it depends how big is the ship? Like, does it actually have like a crow's nest, or is it just the mast that? Man, go on.
It's a long boat. It, like most of the Overton boats, does not have things like a crow's nest because their shipping industry is still transitioning over from being a lake-based space where a crow's nest would be less than useful. But you've seen the sailors climb up and down the masts a few times working on something, doing some repairs, and there are some spars up there that you could easily balance on to get a clear view beyond the sails.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I would maybe like try to. I can't really hide what I look like per se, but maybe like if there's like a cloak lying around or something that I can use to kind of at least. I mean, well, what time of day is it?
It's day. I mean, you arrive here in day.
Maybe like something brown or something that I can.
Hi, Josh.
This is our differenting and parenting styles. I would like to grab something that would like maybe camouflage at least my color, because I feel like red will probably stick out very easily. So if I can maybe get like like a brown cloak or something with like long sleeves or pants or something to kind of
Sure. What are you trying to do with this disguise? What is the purpose of this?
just cover up my bread so that I don't like if someone were to be
Looking
using, like-
specifically for
Okay.
us.
Oh, okay.
yeah, or like it's scoping. If someone's scoping out the boat, I don't want them to recognize me.
Go ahead and roll a stealth check just to see how
Because
well
we
you're
are quite
doing at
famous.
getting. I mean, I would say a deception check would also be okay. So you decide.
I don't think either of them are very good. A stealth check would be a 15.
Okay. Yeah, you seem to be pretty well wrapped up. Most
I
of
can
your
prestidigitate her to smell like an
covered.
unwashed sailor if that helps.
I don't think that's sense that I have to worry about right now.
Okay. Okay, just checking.
You clamber on up to the mast and you're looking around. How are you looking around at this? That's like what I was going for originally. You just peering out into the distance. What's going on?
I mean, I'm gonna act like I'm doing like a normal kind of like scoping out, like looking ahead for weather and such, and then I would like to kind of take some glances along the shore, try to look for anything like reflecting that might be like metal or any weird movement that doesn't seem to like.
Just like general scouting and checking out the town that's in the distance?
Yeah. I mean...
Okay. Go ahead and roll a perception check. Just curious what might be...
I mean, this really isn't like her, despite the piracy rumors, it's really not exactly
She's an air
what
pirate.
she does. Even so, like, scouting 20 feet above the water versus hundreds of feet above the water. Kind of the same thing. That is a 17.
All right.
Rolled low.
With the 17, you can make out a little bit of the town. New Belgrano is... It's not a terrible looking little town. Very much a recently patched together little city. You can tell that it is it's what they made themselves of, and there's a little river running through and kind of switch backing in the beach. Seems to be pretty slow moving and sluggish. Not a very quick moving little river that goes through it. And there's a couple of buildings that arch over the river. It looks a little cleaner than a swamp, but it's not that much better in terms of just the space. And you can tell that they must rely on the fishing or the products that come downriver from the swamps off to the east. But what stands out to you, I think, is that this little town is silhouetted against a distant but fairly large looking mesa, maybe, or some other structure that seems at odds with the overall topography. Further off to the west, you can barely make out some hills, but there's this huge kind of cliff face off in the distance that seems to peter off at either end and kind of just frames and creates a little dark silhouette. There is a short wall, and in your peering, you can make out a couple of figures moving along. You see on one tower somebody waving a flag, signaling to the interior of the town. And from your knowledge of travel in the airships, that's often what townsfolk would do when they spotted a ship of various sorts. So it is clear that the ship that you're on has been spotted by the town and that they're making known your arrival. But otherwise, things seem quiet. The shoreline seems to be peaceful. You do, as you're casually gazing along the rest of the shoreline, seeking out little glints of hidden items, metal, etc. A few fishing boats that have baked and decayed in the very grassy sand dunes of this area.
I wonder. I climb back down. I go to Asher and Tanzanite. Do you think maybe we port in the town and then maybe we can get like a smaller boat and try to go up the side of the coast on like under the dark of night?
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought maybe sailing around in this big ship full of goodies would attract the people we're looking for, but
Yeah. I mean, I guess the other option is maybe we stay overnight, see if they attack the town now that there's, goods. Like we unpack the boat and
maybe we stack the crates up on the dock and just make it too good to resist. Grant told me we can lose everything we need to if it gets the trade routes open.
I guess that's true.
So if it fails, it fails. But
That's not a bad idea. I just don't know how. I mean, can you do anything that would hide us in the meantime? While we wait?
Not really. Unless Tanzanite shadows can hide us or something. I don't know.
Well, and Tanzanite looks through her spell list really quickly.
So does Asher. Just to be sure.
Well, if we are leaving bait out, and she gestures down into the hold where presumably the gems are kept, shouldn't we just make sure people around here know that we have treasure?
I mean, yeah, I guess we can.
Because does anybody know that we actually are a treasure ship?
I mean, this is a grand boat. You know they have a carnival barker running around here that can shout out that we've got buckets of gems for sale.
What if we task some of the crew to go to the tavern and like drink and talk? Maybe?
Yeah.
And then we stay on the boat? But like, I don't know, we just
I mean, our understanding is that when they come in from the ocean, right? Like the raiders attack from the water, correct? DM.
Yeah. All your knowledge is that they attack from the water and return to the water.
Okay.
Very Viking-esque if you want a descriptor that helps contextualize for our real world.
Yeah, so if we stay here at the pier, then in theory they should attack here, except for that weird smile the DM just did that I'm not sure about. But that's metagaming, so we'll pretend I didn't see it.
Here at the pier just made me smile because it was the rhyme.
If we're here at the pier, then when they get here, they will steer clear of anything near
That causes fear and stay to the rear.
No, if we stay here at the boat, then we should be in somewhat of a position to see them coming and maybe get our chance to talk to them.
yeah.
I could, in theory, dimension door two of us onto their boat before they ever hit land.
That's an option.
I could Misty Step, so all three of us would be there.
Oh yeah. I would say I could step with the wind, but it's not always reliable.
All right, sounds like we have a plan.
First, like, do it. Do it.
Do it. Use the funds.
Or just prismatic spray their boat because I haven't got to try it yet.
All right, so you.
So we're going to talk to the captain, pass a little gold around to the crew, tell them to hit the bars and talk and.
Yeah, I mean they're at your command, and they're more than willing to, because they've been
Go get
instructed
drunk for free
to do what you require. So yeah, they take the gold to facilitate their drinking binge. The crew is very pleased with this new opportunity to talk. Blithely is not normally what they're allowed, and to be literally instructed to spread and share the merriment. So they go off in high spirits. The captain a little bit more restrained, a little bit more concerned for his ship, but following the commands is willing to relinquish the time at the dock. And you hear very quickly as the late afternoon rolls into evening, a sense of cheerfulness and revelry occurring throughout all of the town. At one point in the earlier part of the evening, before sun had actually set, you actually heard a barker screaming out, "Gems for sale at the docks, coming tomorrow morning, gems for sale at the docks." And it's, in general, a raucous time. Trade reopening. Get
your turnips here. Get your turnips.
You hear another individual shouting as they're walking along. Hey, where are my friends? They're giving us free drinks over at the Willy Wontos. Willy Wontos has free drinks. Screaming out.
What was the name?
Willy Wontos.
Wontos. Okay.
Why?
That's not what I heard, but okay.
I'm assuming you heard Willy Wonka's.
No.
No.
Willy
Okay.
Wontos?
Well,
no, it kind of sounded like Wong Tools, and I was like,
I feel like Willy Wonto is a great name for a pirate.
yeah, it is.
Lost all my rest of my toes to the gout. Willy Wonto.
Willy Wontos not got no other toes except for the one.
I got no toes to hold me up. Sorry.
So you hear the shouts and everything, and you eventually evening sets in. The revelry. Oh, you're adorable, Nish. Those of you who are listening to the podcast in the future, I just got to see close-up puppy face. You hang out and enjoy the sounds from the beach that you're missing out on. But I'm assuming you are setting up some sort of observation situation.
Yeah, I think while it's still light out, we'll probably get some rest so that we don't get like exhausted staying up all night. But then we'll probably just kind of camp out on the deck.
All right, easily enough done. Camping out on the deck, Tanzanite finds shelter just under the eave of a cabin so that she has some shade to protect her skin, as she says, as she applies her afternoon skin routine. And you all settle in, and eventually, are you going to take watches over the night, or are you going to all stay up together? What are you up to?
I think we should.
With what you
each
described,
take
you
a
would
watch.
not suffer exhaustion.
Yeah, I think we should each take a watch with a crew member, maybe, which would give us a little.
Well, the crew members are all off boat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The party has not stopped.
Gotcha.
It's just dark.
Okay. Even the captain's gone.
Oh yeah, you sent him on a mission, and he is.
If the ship goes down, does not go down with its captain. Okay. Yeah, we'll just take turns, I think.
All right. So if you're taking turns, could you just tell me who's doing first, second, and third watch, and you'll have to decide for Tanzanite so I can roll for.
I feel like Tanzanite don't do middle watch. So
All right.
I can do middle watch, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, you do middle watch because you have the night goggles.
Okay.
And I'll do the earlier watch when it's still kind of dusky.
Okay. So, Asher, go ahead and roll your perception check.
Perception! Now eat that. 25.
25. Over the course of your watch,
Eat a
you do make
D20.
out
You don't eat
some
D20.
activity on the beach, which is odd since all of the party seems to be happening in town. And a small little canoe is dragged out and starts to paddle away.
Interesting.
But,
I will note this and note the direction it went so that we can keep special attention on that direction.
okay. Eventually, your watch comes to an end. You wake up Trixie, I'm assuming?
Yes.
before.
Sorry. Refocusing there.
Yeah. As you wake up Trixie, you there you go. You good enough. You share what you saw, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Trixie.
Trixie saw a canoe, went that way. Probably
what are
going
you
to
doing
get
on
the
your
pirates.
What are you doing on your watch, Trixie?
Well, since it is sorry, just making sure she wasn't going. Now fully dark, I will use my goggles, and I'm going to focus on the area that Asher mentioned, but I'm trying to think. So you said it went off to the east?
I didn't say a specific direction, but
Oh, okay. And it paddled away, right?
yeah.
So basically I want to keep an eye out between where that went and the opening to the sea. Just kind of alternating mostly between those two directions if they're not the same.
Yeah. Great. So go ahead and roll a perception check. You have changed the DC, just so you know.
$22?
Oh God. Y'all killed me. Great perception checks. The wisdom person still hasn't even gone, and y'all are hitting high.
Am I not a wisdom person? I guess I'm dexterity, but
You're
I'm
more
not.
dexterity. You can build up your wisdom to help out your overall build.
my wisdom literally is only 1 point lower than my dexterity, and my dexterity is maxed out. So,
Yeah.
My wisdom is 11 with no modifier.
Yeah, you.
but you
set
did
yourselves
good. You
up.
rolled well.
I took a feat with a perception bonus, I think, when we leveled at one point because I kept failing all my perception rolls.
That makes sense.
It's okay. You're pretty.
So over
Aw, shucks.
the course of the night, Larissa, Trixie sees nothing on the waves at first, and then eventually there's a little bit of that bioluminescence that occurs, and in that bioluminescence that is kind of crashing over, you see a break in it. And you've been seeing that kind of reflection of both moonlight and the bioluminescence of the breaking waves, because it is black out. But this darkness that darts through disturbs that and ceases the reflection, and it seems to be moving. It's maybe 1,000 feet away at this moment, but it's out on the water. It's not it's coming from the direction where the canoe left.
Smoke on the
And you're able to make it out,
water.
and it is moving your way.
Okay.
At a pace that within 10 minutes or so, you know that it will be in the river channel
In the river channel.
where the docking space is.
Oh, got it. Okay. All right. I am going to drop to the deck floor and like kind of army crawl so that I'm not seen, if possible.
I mean, you're 3 feet tall. You might not be seen.
But I'm
Over the
also bright
wall.
red.
It's also dark out.
Still, ma'am. Hey, no, she's fine. Come,
Oh,
good
true.
girl. Sit, good girl. And I'm going to go back to my.
Bioluminescence is the name of my punk band.
Good girl. I'm gonna go back to my group mates. I'm gonna slowly, quietly wake up Tanzanite and say, I think, yeah, you're fine.
Is it my time?
You're fine. No, just. I think if something's going to happen, it's going to happen pretty soon.
Her eyes snap open.
Do we have like a game plan? Do we just kind of want to pop up and say,
"Did you?"
But
Oh. So, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna go like
Obviously,
peek over
we
the.
can't let them get away.
I'm gonna go peek over the wall and like see what I can see of them coming.
Okay, go ahead and roll another perception check.
21.
Cool. You are able to make out with a 21 a little bit of detail on the specifics of the ship, or the really what's a boat. The style and shape of it looks like it could potentially transport very heavy weights, and what stands out to you as it's coming through is that it seems to be high in the water at this moment, and that there are multiple oars moving this boat along. There is no mast. There's no wind
Sails.
power for this. Yeah, there's no sails, at least nothing visible or up at this point.
What is the distance?
And because you've peeked up at this point, you can see that it's now within 750 feet, and they're gaining time on you. You know that in the next 7 minutes, they'll be in that river channel, so they're getting closer and closer to the town. I think the other thing you can make out is that there's a slight reflection from the moon and stars on some metallic objects.
all right,
I think that they have weapons and they are riding high in the water. They're looking like they are ready to move some stuff.
okay.
They're empty.
So, remind me, did we decide to put the crates on the dock, or do we just leave them in the boat?
I was under the impression you left them on the dock, so it'd be obvious that they were there. But if you want to retcon that, you can go ahead and retcon that.
Do we want to go down and like hide behind the crates, or do we want to
I don't think there's time.
teleport to the boat when it gets close enough?
Well, they're going to go after the crates, not the boat.
No, teleport to their boat. If we teleport to their boat before they get here,
Well, you can see them from here, right?
I can, but they're too far away.
Okay.
So you have.
Also, what's the range on Misty Step? Dimension door is
Misty-
500 feet, but Misty Step's not that far, right?
No, Misty Step. She would be a little bit further behind you, getting there. I'm going to find it eventually because these spell lists are getting longer and longer. Misty Step. She has
30 feet.
30 feet. Yeah. So you would both be there before she would, but she would be there not too long after you made it.
I mean, we could wait until they're 30 feet off the dock and dimension door in. Like, it doesn't have to be at max range. We just need to get them before they are at the dock stealing stuff.
So, sorry, I guess I'm confused, like, about how we're arranged. Is the dock closer to them at this point, or are we closer to them on the boat?
It's even.
Like, is the boat-
because if you picture a river channel into a little town, a little podunk town, the dock is literally just right up against the river's edge, and the boat is attached.
Got
to
it.
the dock.
Okay,
So it's
okay.
all just
Sorry,
like
I was thinking
even
it was going
Stevens.
across the water, not with the water. Okay. I think we just stay here. Like, it'll give us more time to adjust depending on, and
Okay.
They won't
Do we
be
just like wait
prepared for us
until?
to just suddenly appear, but whereas they're going to be ready to raid when they get here, right?
You want us to go now?
Surprise is on our side.
Yeah, I
They
guess
think
that's
they're
true.
the surprisers.
I
Yeah.
guess
I
you
mean,
can
I
catch
guess
up.
as long as I can see it well enough to teleport onto their boat without capsizing the boat or
I mean, do you want to borrow my
teleporting
goggles?
into someone.
Do you want to borrow my goggles quick?
I guess. How close are they at this point? What we're talking?
They're now within, with the conversation that's been going on, they're now within 400 feet.
Do you want to go now? I can go now.
I mean, let's go now. All right.
All right, Tanzanite, pop in when you can.
I got
All
it.
right. I'm gonna grab Trixie by the wrist and don't have a haiku because I just used this. Wait, no. Nope. Oh crap! Hang on. Off to yonder boat. Trixie and I will both go safely on the deck. And we will dimension door like into the middle of the deck and like whatever open space is, it's like not gonna tip the boat too far one way or the other.
Well, with your goggles on, you go
Also
ahead
with
and just
my gun out.
great. With your goggles on, go ahead and roll with Trixie's goggles on. Go ahead and just roll a perception check, no disadvantage because of the dark.
28.
Nice.
You land perfectly. Like you land with every warrior or apparently warrior
I have a 10 bonus now.
back. Their back is to you, and you do it with. I mean, it's dimension door. It's barely a thunk. The boat barely shifts because you chose just the perfect spot, and it's wide enough that it wouldn't really shift very much, anyways. And so, at the moment, pending whatever you do, nobody's aware that you're there.
I'm going to click the hammer of my gun, click, and say, "We need to talk." Nobody move.
Panic it ensues for just a moment. And that is where we're going to pause, take a half an hour break, because that is the coolest entrance you could possibly have.
And here I was gonna sneeze.
So go ahead and.
What I should have said was, "Pardon me. Do you have any grape poupon?"
Pardon me. So we have a new dog in our lives. Well, y'all have a new dog in your life, but I feel like it's just my dog in a way.
It's like your niece dog.
My niece dog, yeah. What time do you think you'll be back from the new puppy?
We just spin her around the block once every 2 hours just to make sure she doesn't have accidents in the house. So
it just depends on how many people we run into on the way, because she literally wants to stop and have everyone pet her.
And she's absolutely adorable, and everybody, like, half the people stop and go, "Oh my god, can I pet your dog?" So
Yeah.
it's been a thing.
And if they don't, she sits and stares at them as they go by, waiting for them to notice her. So,
But I don't think we would need longer than 30 minutes if you want to just do the regular.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay, so
absolutely.
I'll just do 15 before the hour, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because then I don't have to do multiple standard
Yes.
times, which I
Yes.
clearly, thank you, Andy, mess
Quarter
up a
to.
lot. So we will return 15 to the hour. Hope you have a good break, and looking forward to seeing you in a moment.
Bye.
Merrick, everybody else is muted. I am not.
Jason
Ooh.
muted us because he was trying to keep us private. I don't know if it was going through or not, so I'm glad he was doing that. But welcome back to Probability of Demise. I'm Rick. This is the cast of amazing people. Asher is played by Jason, and Trixie is played by Larissa. Our fourth teammate is not here right now. She is out. What happened?
Oh, I gurgled. I pulled a Jason. Sorry.
Nice.
I wasn't sure if the mic picked it up or not.
It did.
Did it?
Yeah.
Nice. All right, but we
Unless
are
I'm not
back,
the only one burping into the mic.
and it is time for our post-break commercial.
Yay. Oh, wait, I have to pull it up again.
And I was given the special privilege to know that this isn't a solo performance.
Yeah. So I actually went to the callback. I cheated because Jess did the push pin. She suggested a push pin commercial, and then I never did it because our old dog died and all that other stuff, and I just like got distracted and didn't do it. So I'm doing it now. So there we go. Push pins.
Do you want me to say what the actual thing is?
It's in the commercial, so we can just go with it.
Okay. Aw, man! My postcards fell on the floor again. Darn these cheap push pins.
Hi there. Having trouble with your push pins?
Who's talking?
Never mind that. Sounds like you have a push pin problem.
I sure do, Mr. Weird Disembodied Voice.
Sounds like you need Grand's Brand's Diamond Tip Titanium push pins.
I do?
You do. Diamond Tip Titanium push pins from Grand's Brand are guaranteed to never fall out of your bulletin board, making sure all your photos, maps, and postcards stay safely in place, just the way you like.
Oh, boy.
And there's more. Our Diamond Tip Titanium push pins will stick into just about anything. Cork, plaster, drywall, concrete, or even the flesh of your well-loved friends or most hated enemies.
Wait, what?
I said they'll stick into anything. Just go with it.
Okay.
Here, try one.
Wow! It stuck right through the postcard, through the bulletin board, and into the wall.
See? These push pins are far superior to other push pins found at major competitors, such as Drogo's Logos, Tramp Stamps, or Staples.
What happens if I put one under the cushion on my brother's chair at the dinner table?
Why not buy some and find out?
Awesome!
Grand's Brand's Diamond Tip Titanium push pins. Stick it to them. This product is for entertainment purposes only. Grand's Brand is not liable for any injury or death that ensues from uses other than what's directed.
Oh my god. That needs to become a magic item. Just it sticks through anything. I feel like it's like the immovable rod,
I
but
was just gonna say that.
it's the immovable stick pin. Oh my gosh.
I do want to ask, I assume you're intending to share this background image that's up there.
It is up there.
Okay.
That is my intention.
Okay.
So just to set the mood, you spoke up, and in that moment of speaking up and cocking the noise of the gun,
Well, just one because it's a revolver.
there are 12 individuals, but the closest of those individuals turn to you, and you can see one has rugged red skin, lean build, and through the darkness you can't quite make out their face, but it looks a little pockmarked in what you can see. They have a bit of a Fu Manchu style mustache and some sort of decorative, as the moonlight glances off of it, some sort of decorative tattoo on their hand, on their right hand. Another of the individuals that's turned around is a bit shorter, has a softer look to her red skin, and two wavy horns that kind of circle out from her head, whereas the first individual was completely bald in that region as far as you can tell in the dark. Another one is purple, which might be a reflection of the light in this dark space, but they appear to be very purple, and she kind of has like a sharp, almost fey face, except for the two horns again protruding from the sides of her head. And then you see two more males. One seems much more older than the rest, much older than the rest, I mean to say, with long curling red horns, pockmarked purple skin, an athletic build for someone of their much more advanced age. And then the last individual also appears to be male, is softly growling, has soft purple skin, red hair, and green eyes, and short, tiny little horns. They seem to be fairly tall, taller than most of the rest, but also maybe a little anorexic in their build, just because they're extremely skinny. And a fluffy, not truly mustachy mustache that they have clearly put a little bit of wax on the tips of to try to create a little bit of a handlebar mustache look. But again, it's peach fuzz, so it is a fairly absurd look for that individual. But those are the ones closest to you, and the other 7 members are cloaked in more shadow just by nature of how the light is reflecting and such. But that is the immediate impression as you see these individuals, all but the one that's kind of front and center to you, and who actually speaks first. Sto Chatoka. That's all you hear.
Mm.
Oh, okay. I am going to crap. I have tongues. I do have tongues. Where are you? There
I
you
understand what they say.
Do you? Okay.
Do you?
Tongue of the sun and moon. You understand all spoken languages, and any creature that can understand a language can understand what you say.
Okay. So when they say Stochoka, you hear, unlike Asher, you hear, how did you stow away here?
What do you say? Did you understand the guy?
He's asking how we got here. We want to talk. We don't mean any harm. Hi, Fuzz. Sorry.
Fuzz?
You see the individual take a pause for a moment, and then another one of the other ones steps forward. The female who had the soft but dirty red skin and black hair and green eyes, and she's the shorter of the people, but she's closest to the individual who first spoke, and she turns to them and looks back at you and turns back to the person who first spoke, and you hear, and of course you understand this, Trixie, you hear her say, "The devils speak our language."
I'm going to say all the languages come from a similar place. Let's talk about it, and put my hand on my chest and cast tongues on myself.
All right. So now both of you can understand everything that's being said. The boat in this moment, as everything has stopped and people are, the other individuals have turned in to face you, has stopped rowing. It is still gliding forward, but it is slowed in its progress. So it's not getting quite as close to the beach or to the dock space or even to the river yet, as it kind of glides to stop, and the river actually starts pushing it back a bit.
You okay
Sorry,
with it?
she just crashed into the gate.
Oh no.
Again, if you
Puppy
just joined
stuff.
us recently, there's a new
Hi.
puppy involved in this little
boy.
online space, and the new puppy is a puppy.
Yeah,
She is.
she's got the
She's
zooms.
doing puppy things in the background.
She's adorable.
I'm going to say, hello. We're not here to fight. We just came to talk.
And I'm going to turn to him and say, I just said that.
Oh, I couldn't understand it until I cast a spell. Sorry. What she said plus what I said, to reiterate.
You can see a bit of confusion happening as they kind of look, and there's murmurs, a bit too soft to actually hear, but then standing much more. with a bit more determination, I would say. It's much more performative in this moment, but it's a bit of like chest sticking out. The first
Sorry, 1 second.
individual says, "How'd you steal aboard my ship?"
We didn't stow away. We teleported. But we came here specifically to talk to you.
We came to talk about the dragons.
You see like the kind of like the fierceness in their eyes, and the oldest one, the one that had kind of like the Fu Manchu style mustache, speaks up and says, "Your people are bringer of dragons."
We are not the bringer of dragons. That's what we want to talk to you about. I think there's been a misunderstanding.
A bit of an argument seems to break out amongst the other members of this crew, and it takes the first individual again shouting out, "Order! We listen, then we continue our raid. It is nothing to throw these over."
First
He
of
very
all,
clearly feels like he's in a position of power in this moment. You are surrounded in his eyes, even if he doesn't understand how you got here.
one, rude to assume. Second, I bringer. So we have an affiliation with a dragon, but not the dragons that are running around destroying things.
The
And
dragons
killing-
that are
killing
dragons that are
things.
attacking you are also attacking us.
You hear one of them say something that is just doesn't really make sense because it's proper nouns. But the words that you can pick out of it are overseas, like us, and traitors. And that comes from the younger individual. And then the older Fu Manchu says back, "Do not trust." And then the woman that is the smaller of the individual, or the feminine figure that is the smaller of the individuals, says, "I bet my horns on their danger to us."
I'm going to say you don't have to trust fully. Trust is earned. Respect is earned. We understand that. But to continue to do damage to our villages is unacceptable and unnecessary. And we would like time for, to discuss what's been happening and try to find a way to de-escalate things without so much violence.
We are happy to provide you with resources for whatever you need to survive. We are not the fight that we are involved in is against one of evil, not of conquest or of control.
We have an alliance that's formed to stand against the evil dragons.
When you say alliance, you hear a lot of murmuring break out. And I think just go ahead and roll a perception check to see if you're able to pluck information from this, both of you.
18.
Ah,
I feel like I'm cheating.
oh, that's unfortunate. It rolled up onto other dice, but it was flat, and it was a natural 20, but it was on top of other dice.
Is that what you're keeping? Are you going to keep any time it rolls like that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't usually have my dice in here. There's just not as much
space.
space.
You have to do it forever.
I mean, it's like if it would landed flat on a.
As long as you're consistent. As long as you're consistent. I don't care. The day it rolls a natural 1 on top of other dice.
Yeah. I mean, I would. Okay.
That.
I mean, if that's okay to keep, then I will keep anything going forward. But I will try to make sure it's cleaned out.
And being consistent about how you roll. So, I'll say that both of you maybe pick this up then with a natural 20 and an 18. You both pick up. adorableness. You both pick up the adorableness. You pick up the idea that their original charter was to make an alliance. I think you also hear that haughty elves turn them away, and that there's a bit of frustration, like that they were unsuccessful in some of their earlier attempts to do what they needed to do. So you get kind of the sense that, like, okay, not everything went well in the original situation that they came for, and then whatever it is, like the word alliance has definitely gotten them excited, just from the general tenor of what's being said, and then the woman, the kind of huskily looks at you, and her red skin seems to gleam a little bit in the night moonlit space, and her eyes kind of flash a bit as she kind of like really is trying to drill into you. And I would like you, Larissa, to have Trixie make a charisma saving throw.
Oh God. Push these dice back.
Sure. Target Trixie with the Christmas.
That's another nat 20.
That's what you get. That's what you get for trying to go around my charisma.
So in total, that would be.
I don't need to know the total. You're way
22
above at this point. That was so high above. You would have not even a thing.
I rolled a different die, and it didn't land on other die.
The DC was 12. I'm not even.
Okay.
You just prevented her from, and you can feel like, at first you didn't notice, which was just a cursory surface level thing. Her just kind of skimming your surface thoughts and not needing to roll a saving throw because you weren't aware of the surface thoughts being skimmed. But she tried to dive deeper with what you had with what was just said, and you can feel your kind of, it's like, if you think of it as a mind palace, you have this moment where you feel an intrusion and you repel it, and you can tell that it came from her, and you can see her back away. She defends. She resists me.
It's usually considered good manners to ask permission. If you had asked, I would have let you see, but you gave no warning, so I did not know what was going on and reacted. What she said.
What she said.
And reacted instinctively.
It's so funny.
Is she barking at Boomer's photo?
I think she is.
Oh, your puppy.
She's definitely barking at Boomer's photo.
Buffy, it's just a picture.
It's a picture here.
Oh my God. Hold on. Please hold. Time out.
Please hold while we have a puppy break.
This is my Boomer photo.
Boomer's photo. And how is...
You smell?
She's like, there's no dog in there.
Maybe that's what she was. Maybe she was concerned there was a dog in this glass cage. Let it out. What are you doing?
Don't keep it there. People are scary.
Hey,
it's back in the glass cage.
You're not as. I'm beginning to think you're not as smart as I thought you were. We had a problem with the mirror the other day too. Yeah, didn't we? Yeah.
Okay, so as the I totally got distracted and lost my train of thought.
It's usually considered nice manners to ask permission. And had you asked, I would have shared with you freely.
You see her raise an eyebrow with a very skeptical look. When people lie, it's better to ask forgiveness than for permission. Please, I beg your forgiveness. But she says it with a little bit of a snootiness, like a little bit of a bit of
Condescension.
like it's not condensation. It's not condensation
It
either.
is definitely not condensation.
It's definitely
It's not what
not
she
that.
said it with.
But it's a little
I mean,
bit
they're
of
on a
that,
boat. It could be.
like, I know you probably don't ask permission for things either. There's no way everybody asks permission when you're not sure of something. So, yeah, it's a healthy amount of skepticism.
Cynical.
You don't ask permission
Yes,
when you
it's a
punch someone in the
cynical
face, do you?
response. Yeah. Do you ask permission before you beat somebody up?
No, but I usually try to diffuse the situation if I can.
And then she kind of like bows her head a little bit and she says, "With your permission."
And I just open my hands to her, like palms raised, in a sign of peaceful gesture.
Condescension. Nice. So as you do that, she turns and looks at the person next to her, and you hear her very easily because of the distance, "Captain Barbary, may I?" And she nods, and she again kind of moves her hand and in a bit of a wave pattern that you caught before, but you hadn't realized it was her casting a spell. It was just like looked like a mannerism as she was doing it, and a bit of whispered something, and then she pushes again, and you can feel that push. Do you resist this time?
Nope.
She leans back and she goes, "They speak the truth. They do have a dragon, but they also have fought the dragons."
I'm gonna like slowly release the hammer forward on my gun and then put it away.
You can see that she has backed off a lot and is pulling back the younger, fuzzy tufted faced individual back with her in a very protective gesture. And I think you can make this out before Barbary speaks up, but she says, "Extreme, Ashes, Emeros, stand back. They're dangerous. They're very, very dangerous." And as they all step back, you can see Barbary.
Do you know who I am?
You can see Barbary look and step forward and kind of, "You are small, but apparently," and he looks back at her, "my first mate sees you as a worthy adversary. And you say you have allies against these dragons."
Pretty much anyone we come across, we try. We're all just trying to get through this together. The evil dragon that we are fighting against has harmed everyone and continues to harm everyone. So we're trying to bring everyone together so that no one is alone.
Go ahead and roll, either one of you, a persuasion check to get past it. And this is going to be kind of a series of persuasion checks and other things like that. But in this case, I think it's Trixie.
Yeah.
A persuasion check on whether or not this little hump in this series is going to... We have now entered into not combat initiative, but apparently political initiative.
Negotiations.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Barbary looks at you and says, "We could speak more of this, but I don't trust you fully. Perhaps in the morning we could speak again." You can see a lot of concern and just on the surface level, unless you want to do an insight check.
I'm gonna
Just
yell.
distrust.
I'm gonna stop. And be like, hang on a second. I'm gonna be like, "Tanzanite, we're okay. You don't have to come over." I don't want to just like poof in the middle of it.
You hear much closer than you expected Tanzanite from somewhere along the bank of the beach, because seeing the boat moving backwards set her off in concern, and she started running.
Oh.
down to the beach, you hear a, "Are you sure?"
Yeah, we're good.
"Good. I don't want to swim. It's terrible for my armor."
It's wet.
Wet.
Like, all right.
Former water goddess.
So let's go for now. Overnight truce, and we'll speak in the morning. Like, you won't raid the docks, and we won't try to stop you. And then we'll talk in the morning. How's that?
The older one kind of shifts his head and says, "You know the peninsula 2 miles to the east.
Yes, our captain would.
We'll meet you there.
Okay.
Neutral territory." And as that individual speaks up, you can see the captain kind of bows to them a little bit, and then, "Now, how do you get off my boat?"
Man.
You can see that he's not willing for fear of allies that you might have and such.
Sorry, I'm writing. The other one I made up on the fly. I don't know if I have it in me twice.
Trixie, just for me, any other things that would have been a little bit deeper thoughts that you would have had while she was diving into your mind?
And like in terms of like trying to lead her.
Something about syrup.
Just
like
like things
to
that you'd
just-
be. She stayed looking at your surface thoughts the entire time,
Okay.
both before and after. But would there have been any thoughts that would have been things that she would have been privy to, surface level things? Or
I
would
mean,
it be just concerned with like the space that you were in at that moment?
I mean, I guess I probably would have, been thinking about like the various people that we've met over the last year, and us forming the different alliances, and I guess maybe a general puzzlement is a puzzlement. General like puzzling over what I kind of overheard them saying about the elves on Larson. And like,
yeah, you can definitely easily construe that meant Larson.
okay. It's more that I couldn't remember the name of the island. But and like showing genuine confusion over that, because they are supposed to be our allies, and sharing Bahamut's like that we've met, that kind of thing. Just like kind of thinking back on all the things that would kind of pertain to what we're discussing, I guess.
Can you just roll for me an intimidation check?
Oh dear.
It would have been a passive thing that you did, but I just want to see what sorts of
6.
I think that as like as you like, she's backing everyone off, there's like a look of incredulousness on her face, but not true fear.
Keep reading.
Okay, so, and then
Okay. That's fine. I mean, I prefer to be underestimated anyways.
okay, so
I will say, off we go for now. Teleporting is quite hard. See you later, man. And dimension door us back to the end of the dock.
poof out of, you hear exclamations behind you of concern and fear, and one voice pipes up with a, "I want that one." But then all seems to be well. Looking out at the water, you do see the retreat of the dark shape across the space.
I'm just gonna wave.
Just for fun, roll
A crossbow
whatever-
bolt goes through my hand.
whatever. You just tell me what you're rolling, and we'll see what that does.
What I'm rolling?
Yeah.
What's my worst roll? Let's see. I'm gonna roll strength. -1. 2.
You wave, and you hear a click in your own shoulder.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
I'm getting too old for this shit. I'm almost 18 now. Oh, it's getting rough. Falling apart.
But you notice nothing out on the other ship or anything like that. I just love the idea that you just roll a strength check on a random wave. That's fun. All right, so yeah, you're on the beach and you can see the dark shape seems to move out. Eventually, Tanzanite will make it up to you. It's real life, Jason. Yes. You
I'm trying to escape here, Rorik. Way to go.
Hey, you're the one who rolled strength. But you eventually see Tanzanite making her way back up from the beach towards you, since you actually teleported further than she was out. She looks at you both as like, well,
We're meeting them at a peninsula 2 miles that way tomorrow to talk more, but they're not going to raid tonight.
I don't trust them.
They don't trust us. So
They said something about haughty elves turning them away before, so maybe just keep that in mind.
Attractive elves were turning them away?
no.
Yeah.
Haughty, as in snooty.
Oh. Well, I don't know what that would be like.
Yeah. That'd be weird, right? I'm just going to walk away.
You could, her eyes kind of track after you for a second, and she drops that a little bit in front of Trixie. Is the boy upset with me?
I'm going to be like, quit looking at my ass! Just keep walking.
Well, I don't trust them. And it is my turn to watch. And she kind of like camps out on the dock there for a second. And you can see that her little shadows kind of billow around her for a bit. And she settles in to take a watch.
All right. Hopefully it should be uneventful. Maybe think of some jokes to tell your shadows. Or you could try them out on your shadows, and then if they like them, then you could tell them to Asher.
Yeah, so I think as you go to sleep, you hear her struggling and talking to her shadow. And you hear, I don't trust my shadow. You're a shady guy.
Stupid.
Totally stupid.
Although it wasn't, when I think about this more, because I keep saying to tell jokes through the shadows, but it's not the jokes that made them stronger, it's the laughter that made them stronger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if she thinks
But
they're funny,
The
then she'll
perception
laugh.
is the jokes at the time. So that's
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, you both settle in for the rest of your night. She's gonna stay on watch. I'm gonna roll checks for her because she still needs to do those. Good grief. Ridiculous. Okay. Well, I have to tell her some things when she gets back on here. That's just stupid high rolls. Her perception is not as high as your rolls, but she just it's a whole night of high rolls from your team. Like,
I haven't rolled a nat 20 in a long time, I feel like.
you just rolled one.
Well, I mean, today, yes. But before that, I feel like it's been a hot minute.
Yeah, such is life. All right, so morning comes. The crew starts to, at the pre-dawn hour, starts to trickle back on board. Only 3 of them. The rest of the crew is carousing still, having a good old time. The captain comes with the dawn's first rays and checks in, sees all the cargo still there, and says, "No luck.
No, they came. We
You destroyed them."
No, we talked them down, and we're gonna go meet them to talk some more.
We get the impression we're not actually on opposing sides.
We're
Uh,
we're thinking big picture here in terms of the alliance and trying to maybe bring them on. They're obviously enemies of the dragons, which probably makes them friends of ours. So we're just trying to straighten out any misconceptions.
And I think the other issue is that they don't speak any language that we're familiar with here. We just happen to have the ability to understand them. So it if we are to possibly bring them into the alliance, we're going to need someone who has that ability to interpret and help.
And that would be your team.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely help to start. We would I think we would need someone after. We have other things we need to also assist with in the area, but for an initial meet and greet, as it were.
Merchants need access to languages to make things happen. I have a cabin boy, really, who might be able to. This would be an opportunity. And you can see he's like kind of struggling. Would you be willing to take someone on this venture?
To this right now, or when we go to do the meeting?
The meeting.
Yeah, I think so.
If he could pick up.
Yeah, we can let you know when and where that's going to happen.
Yeah, he picked up the Elvish language pretty quickly, and
would you be able to
the opportunity?
Never mind. I was going to ask if you would empower him to make deals on behalf of Grant's brand, but I think that I'm empowered to do that, so never mind. I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, you have more
seniority.
He kind of like, let's go.
Luck?
We didn't trust. He didn't say that you were entrusted to trade, but you were entrusted to destroy, which I feel like means you can get away with more than I can. Because if I break, and he gestures over to a crate, that could impact my career. Whereas he explicitly told me you were allowed to lose or throw overboard our entire cargo.
Now the good news is now you don't have to. So,
oh,
but
yeah.
But maybe don't sell off everything, because it might be helpful for us to have something to offer as a sign of good faith for the alliance for this possible alliance once we figure out what they need.
DM, you said they've been stealing food, right?
Yes, they've been stealing the food.
Okay, so I'm gonna say let's keep any food stuffs that we have.
Good girl, Willow.
He's just really quickly roll an insight check.
That is a 6. That's my.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great.
Other than my strength roll, that was my crappiest roll of the night.
Awesome. So, yeah, you kind of give him some.
Was Trixie also supposed to roll an insight check? Because we're both there. Me trying to buff my or offset my bad roll.
Stop it.
I think you're just gonna live with what you got.
It's like that. All right.
Cool. So yeah.
Cool.
He heads off. He actually directs 2 of the crew that have returned to pick up a crate, and he turns off with a nod to you all, and we'll see it done.
Okay. Do you know which direction did you say the peninsula was?
East. 2 miles east.
Do you know of a peninsula 2 miles east of here?
As he's walking towards town with the 2 crewmen that are carrying the crate, he tilts his head to the side. We passed it yesterday on our way through.
We're supposed to meet in there this morning. Could we could row 2 miles, right? Like in our dinghy or something.
I think.
I feel like a cabin boy probably is good at rowing.
Rude.
Earn his passage. I think that from your trip over, even though you weren't really truly paying attention on the trip over here, you'd have a kind of a sense of how far that was, and it's not terribly far by land or by boat. So you could easily 2 miles rowing would be exhausting.
Oh, so it's not across the water from us, like we can walk to it.
Yeah, it's on the land.
Oh, okay. We're gonna walk there. So if you want to send your cabin boy,
Excellent. I'll pull him from the arms of his current companion. He walks
bravo.
off into the village. But yeah, the three of you are there. You have
One in every
a few
port.
moments before the return of the cabin boy that you're waiting for. Anything you're going to get up to, or are you just fast forward time? Okay.
What is that face?
That was me trying to just leave things alone. My
Okay.
brain.
We're fast forwarding time then, because I can't deal with this anymore. And
Is it like a Return of the King joke? Because that's where my brain
No.
went.
No.
the
Or that terrible '90s movie Cabin Boy.
you remember this younger person, but not a boy by any means. A younger person looks a lot like the captain, comes strolling up, kind of a disappointed look on his face, sees the three of you waiting, and his face kind of goes ashen for a moment when he realizes that you've been waiting for him. And he hurries over. Excuse me, sirs, ma'ams.
Hey, what's up?
Yes, my lords.
Yeah, don't do that. That's not a thing. That's not necessary.
You see, he's like flustered and trying
You
to.
call me Asher, Trixie, Tanzanite.
Yes, yeah, yes, and his gaze lingers just a little too long on Tanzanite. Yes. Okay. So I'm ordered to go with you to something.
Yeah, we're
supposed
gonna walk a
learn.
couple miles to Peninsula, and we're gonna negotiate with the people who have been raiding.
Almost in like a flashback to how he was initially when he was first walking up along the docks, and before he had really spotted that you were waiting for him and taken that in. You see this like drop in his face as he's just like,
What?
and
You're
What?
I
You can be honest. What?
roll a persuasion check, Trixie. Try to see if you unscare him.
17.
He kind of just looks at you, and he has this moment of like, you can see that the conflict in his face just kind of, and he just, I met a girl.
Okay, and
I thought I would spend the day with her.
got it. Well, if we wait a little bit longer, why don't you tell her you will see her later? But right now, you have to go help the Alliance possibly gain new members.
just say you have some quick business with the Timeless Trio, and you'll be back later. It's gonna work for you. Promise.
Between the two of you, just roll a persuasion check with advantage, Asher, just to like.
You want him to roll? You want him to roll with advantage?
It's
He
gonna
doesn't
be
need
so
advantage.
bad. I just need to see how bad this is.
28.
Okay. You've just given him advantage as he turns and sprints off back towards into the main part of the village. But you've just given him advantage on his persuasion check that he's going to be doing. Again, fast forwarding in time, not much longer. He returns to you,
Hey.
and I'm just going to click that really quickly. Big grin. Big grin.
Gotta go.
I'm ready. Do you need me to do anything? Just
Nope.
Well-
Just hang out, walk with us, and try to kind of pick up the language of these folks we're going to talk to.
yeah, that's what Dad said I was supposed to do. Okay,
Okay.
and he
Let's
just
go.
follows along with the three of you. So 4 people trekking off through the beaches and dunes and whatnot. The topography changes a little bit to a more swampy state as you get
So you're
further and
saying
further
it's
along.
Asher and Tanzanite just taking a long walk on the beach. It's cool. Whatever.
Asher and Tanzanite and Trixie and this kid, that you still haven't asked his name, walking along the beach.
Hey, man, what's your name?
He turns and looks at you. Max?
Hi, Max. I just your dad called you cabin boy, and I didn't want to call you cabin boy. So that's
You just see like a quirked grin of like somebody who's getting a lot of ammunition for their future life. Just stoked. And he kind of has a little bit of a skip to his step, even though the sand has been dragging at his feet for a little while. And fairly quickly, you come to the peninsula that you think was indicated. It's a little bit of a rise. It's not that much higher than the ocean waves, but it is high enough that it stands above, and there are some patchy and you know how on a beach that's well windswept that the trees don't grow normally. The trees grow in strange little craggy ways and bent over and branches in all different directions, trying to minimize the windage, I suppose, and as part of their growth patterns. It's kind of covered with a few bits and pieces of that, as well as 2 large stones, and in the shade of one of those large stones, which who knows, in a century or 2 might be stones out in the middle of the bay rather than stones on a beach. But in the shade of that, you see the 2 of the individuals you met last night. You see the woman who I think from the context you would identify as the one who was called Ambition, and Barbary, the person who seemed to be in charge, although they weren't the person who redirected the conversation. And that person, Ashes, the older sailor, is not there. It's not present. But you do see Barbary and Ambition standing there. So one very tall, and now in the light you can see he's bald-headed with brown eyes, but he has 2 stumps where very large horns used to be. His red skin is much brighter red in daylight, very rugged. He's about 5'10" or so, and has a lean build. His face is much rounder than you picked up in the darkness of the night with the angular moonlight, and his face is kind of awful. His Fu Manchu kind of covers some of those points along his chin that would be scarred or pockmarked, and you can see that on his right hand, where before you had seen something vaguely. Who speaks Sylvan, or reads and writes Sylvan, I should say, rather than speaks?
I
I
think Tanzanite
think that's
does.
Tanzanite.
does.
Yeah.
I have Elvish. I don't have Sylvan.
Okay.
But Tanzanite, I'm 90% sure does.
I think you hear Tanzanite, just like as the 3 or 4 of you are walking up, you hear her go, "Happiness?" His hand says happiness. And the other individual is Ambition, the smaller person from before. You can tell now in the daylight that her dark hair is actually dyed dark. She has roots that are growing out pretty quickly. Her eyes are still green, and her soft red skin is no longer dirty. She took some time to wipe away whatever was probably a bit of disguise that she was trying to use. She's not terribly tall. She's very short, and she's skinny and small. She has a round, attractive face for someone who has horns sticking out of it. And as you approach, a breeze kind of lifts up, and you get the scent of lavender. And there is no lavender to be seen.
She took a bath for us. Special.
She
As we're walking up, I'm going to say, I've been called before a conversationalist. Time to chat again. And I'm going to touch myself and cast tongues again.
All right.
Oh, we're long rested again, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Before I do that. Okay.
Easy gip on this right now.
Hi again.
So,
Hello. Thanks for coming.
there's more of you.
So
This is our friend who I yelled to not poof into your boat last night. This is Tanzanite. Oh, I'm Asher. I don't think we did names. This is Trixie. And this is Max. Max works on the ship that gave us a ride, and he's their language specialist. So he's just going to kind of listen and see if he can sort of learn your language, so that we don't need to be using, alternative means to be speaking to you all the time.
Can you not teach him?
We can, but the three of us we have a very special role within the Alliance. And so we travel a lot. So our thought was, if things go well today and you decide you want to, ally yourselves with us, that it would be helpful for you to have an interpreter who can, convey what your needs are and help you, so you can trade with other people in the Alliance. Hey, come. Good girl. Sit.
This is logical. And as he says this is logical, you see Tanzanite, who doesn't understand what's being said, speak up, and she says something in Sylvan, which I don't think, well, because you have tongues and you both understand, and you don't even know that she said it in Sylvan. She speaks up and she says something, and you can see the confusion mount on Ambition's face.
No. Come.
Barbary responds to it. Just,
Sit. Yeah.
Yes, I met one of the small folk. And he covers up his hand a little bit.
I'm going to reach over and touch Tanzanite's arm and say, hey, join the party. Please join the conversation. Can you understand? And cast tongues on her as well.
As she speaks again, still in Sylvan, the other person's face decreases as they suddenly understand her as she's continuing to speak Sylvan, but also because of tongues, what Ambition hears is now fiendish. And they are all part of this conversation. Meanwhile, Max is sitting there doing the ping pong look as he's trying to track what's being said.
I assume casting tongues on him would not help him at all. So
Right.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna.
He has the hard road.
So I'm addressing everybody. I said I'm going to back off just a little bit with Max, and I'm going to quietly convey what is being said so he can take notes and try to, and then maybe if everything goes well at the end, maybe either he can stay with you and try to talk for a while, or we can.
You see Max's eyes just get wide with the idea of staying with these individuals. He looks at you. You're not giving me to them, are you?
No.
I'm gonna turn at him and go, probably not, and just turn back to them.
And I'm going to smack Asher in the arm with a what is it?
A non-attack.
Non-lethal attack.
Non-lethal smack. I feel like that's a friendly smack, and I'm not going to have anybody roll for anything there unless it's desired. But yeah,
roll a 20 and tear my arm off on accident.
Yeah, you never know with Trixie. She could. if we go lethal rounds, it's always dangerous with Trixie.
Throw the potato.
So yeah, you continue having your conversation. Like, what are you putting forward? Because I need something to feed the NPCs.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be like, so as we said last night, there's clearly been a severe misunderstanding as to what's happened to your village in terms of the dragons attacking your
The
villages,
dragons
your
came
lands.
from this continent.
They did.
operating
They came from under the ground where they've been slumbering for many thousands of years. By and large, we did not know many. Some of them came from other planes. Like there was a explosion that opened the door briefly to some other worlds, and then some things came through, and I think some of the dragons came from there. I think others were already here and woke up. There's a lot of different things happening, but
How long ago did this happen? You hear?
Was it 8 years? Is that the? Are we
For
9 years
the
now?
folks of Atland, it would have been 8 years, 9 years now. So 9 years ago.
About 9 years ago.
But they only came to our shores 7 years ago.
Yeah. I think most of the dragon attacks started. I mean, Asher would know this. I don't remember. It's fairly recently, right? No.
The dragon attacks have been occurring ever since your disappearance as a group.
Okay. Yeah.
Atland has suffered for 9 years.
So the reason that they were probably largely pinned to this continent is because we've been fighting them, right? Like we've been holding them at bay, maybe.
It's pretty easy to make that assumption.
So they've been warring with the various settlements, over on this continent, and that's kept them basically at bay or pinned here. And they've started to. I mean, the success of the war ebbs and flows, and as they tend to do better, then they tend to branch out further and where they attack.
So you chased them from your shores only to have them attack ours.
Potentially, but not intentionally. Like we're not. I won't say we're responsible for what they do. I don't think that we can own that responsibility. But if we drove them off, we did not intend to drive them onto someone else. It was purely a survival thing. But we're happy to help you drive them from your own shores as well.
Our shores are no more. Our people are scattered. We came originally for help and a bit of revenge. And now we've turned to dishonorable practices, and apparently we've been preying upon those who've been preyed upon themselves. So,
who did you go to for help, out of curiosity?
These people along an island west of here, north and west, and he begins to describe what you take to be elves. And as he's describing this, he keeps looking over at Tanzanite, and he just stops and he says, "Like her, but with darker skin."
That's Zuchi's people, right? It's on my map.
You get the sense that that's the same direction Zuchi's from, and
And we're not. Are they in our alliance?
They are in the alliance. At least Zuchi specific people are, but you also have to recall that your
like that's probably directly related to Zuchi being the leader and knowing us, so it didn't come
it's
to
also
later.
Been between the attacks that hit their shores, because they described it as 7 years. I think you would be aware that there's been 3 years gap possibly, and that this people may have landed in the interim when it wasn't.
I think just from the timeline that you've given us, I think that those particular people were not at that point part of our alliance. We hadn't had any contact with them, but they've joined more recently. I think everybody of, I guess, a goodly kind of nature has been more open to helping others and accepting help in recent years because of the dragons and what they've done.
Our people aren't viewed as good. We hid for a long time in our own place because of our appearance.
What does that have to do with anything?
What appearance always has to do with anything. Apparently, we look more like horrors from stories than...
I could see, I mean, as someone familiar with some ancient legends, religions, things like that, I think I understand what you mean about, but I don't think that's still the case in the world. I think people are more willing to accept differences in each other. At least I hope so. We try to, certainly in our group here.
And you see him reach up and touch the stub of where very clearly a horn used to be. We tried to pass. We tried to settle. Our settlement was destroyed in yet another dragon attack. And without elves, and we believed it all came from here, from you, from your people, and then he gestures towards the mountains that are the backdrop to this overall space, far, far in the distance, barely even purple blue off in the distance, but the same mountains where Tiamat originally rose from. We figured out where the attacks were coming from most of the time, and our people scattered to find the people responsible and end it. We thought if we cut you off from your supplies, if we cut the dragons off from their supplies, we would end it. I don't know that anybody will be able to gather my people again and stop.
If we can help you settle somewhere, is there a way to get word out to your people to gather somewhere specific? I mean, we could certainly send out word with our trade ships and such if they run across anyone to let them know.
I'm afraid my people have become weary of the trials we've faced, and I don't know how they'll react to trade ships. We might be a people lost to our revenge seeking at this point. It might be better not to. And you can see that he's kind of given up. Like Barbary has definitely lost his motivation and ambition. Speaks up. No. We can sail forth. We can gather our people again. We just have to try. We can't let them all. I mean, look at them. Look at the towns that we've raided and the small spaces. They clearly have the resources to, and they kind of get into this argument back and forth, and trying to convince each other that it's hopeless or that it's possible, and they're getting stalemated, just frustrated and angry with each other.
Well, how about this? And I kind of step away from Max and back into the group. I said, well, leave it. What can we do right now for your group? What do you need? Do you need rest? Do you need supplies? Do you need a place to stay? Do you need land to settle on? I know that I think the first thing you need to do is to get yourselves situated. And then once you if you feel maybe more comfortable with our alliance, with with the remaining of the rest of the people in the alliance, and you see what resources we have and how they can be of use to you, then maybe that might give you a little bit more faith in the ability to bring your people back together. I don't think you have to make that decision right now. I think you have to do what's best for the people with you in this moment. And if there's something that we can do to assist with that won't harm others, then I think that's certainly something we are willing to do.
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check again.
That one.
It is hopeless. And Barbary turns to Ambition. Says, we are a lost people. We are gone to the winds. It is over for us. We thought to last strike our enemy, and all we've done is damage our potential ally. We're dispersed and we are without hope.
In these raids, have they killed anyone?
People are missing. There's been no bodies that were found, but people are missing.
So let me ask you: the people missing from the places you raided, what happened to them?
If Barbary's skin could go a shade redder, it would. Ambition, her red skin almost seems to bleach out. And she says, they're prisoners of war. Well, they were guarded by our people, what's left of us.
So they're still alive?
Yes. And
So
you can see that she looks extremely nervous just at a glance.
I know that you feel lost. I mean, you've done damage to property. You've stolen some things. Like, you haven't killed anyone. As far as I know, like, there's no damage to us that can't be undone. Like, I think to say all hope is lost is premature at this point. Like, if you're not lost, you're right here. Like, we see you. We can help you. And I hope that you won't give up.
And Ambition looks at Barbary and says, listen to him. Listen. Go ahead and roll another persuasion check, Asher.
Let me use luck just because I want this to be super high. Hang on. Much better. 31.
God. What was the first roll? Don't tell me. I don't want to know. So you see he brightens a bit, and he also says, is there a way for me to take the consequences and allow my people to be free?
I mean,
I will take all responsibility.
Look, this is a misunderstanding. Like, even in your revenge, you still chose not to go as extreme as you could have. You didn't hurt anyone, as far as I know, or at least not irreparably.
You can see that he's like looking a little bit guilty as you say that.
Maybe you smacked a few prisoners around.
His guilt just deepens.
Anyway, look, shit happens. The world's a messed up place. Like, I think that your people have suffered enough, and I don't think that we need to bring additional problems for you.
My honor demands that I protect my people and also pay for our crimes.
Well, perhaps then the way that you can do that is to be the ambassador for your people in this alliance and serve your people that way.
Will the people that we've held forgive us so easily?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll take our word for it. I mean, if you want to bring us to them, we can patch them up. We can explain the situation.
Can see he kind of is taking a deep breath and.
Or you can bring them to us, and we can bring them home.
Oh, we would need a much bigger boat to bring them to you. Gonna need a bigger boat.
Okay. Well,
We can, if you want to take us back to the city, we could get our ship and follow you.
Or we could meet here again with them as neutral territory.
Well, it sounds like they can't move them on their own. There's too many.
Well, they said they can't use them in a boat, but
they're on an island. We commandeered and put them to work.
Okay.
Is this island somewhere that you want to stay? Is that? I guess I feel like your options here are to settle somewhere, or we can find you, somewhere safe in one of the cities.
I feel that we have trespassed enough on your people. We will coordinate with you to return your people to your shores, and we will try to compensate those we have stolen from their lives and their homes and their farms. You can see him kind of like take another deep breath and just lower his head, clearly ashamed, whereas ambition is still standing up tall and almost irritated. We do nothing wrong or right. We're just trying.
Listen, I've made decisions where, as a result of those decisions, innocent people have died. And what I did was I learned and I strove to never allow myself to be in that type of situation again, or to just do better next time, to understand what's more important. So you're still here. You woke up this morning. You know, there is hope.
When you hit rock bottom, the only place to go is up.
We will pay for our crimes, Barbary again just reiterates. And we will release your people.
Well, maybe when you haven't committed crimes against me, I don't live in any of the towns that you've raided. So maybe we get these people home, and then we'll see what they think would be fair recompense. All right.
If you can, maybe heal them before you send them home.
Ambition kind of looks at you, her face quizzical for a moment, goes, they're not harmed physically. They've just been
imprisoned.
Kind of looks down. We put them to work. And made some mistakes.
Well, now's your chance to be better.
Do you want
I'm gonna This could go so badly. I'm gonna kind of just slowly walk up to Burberry and like slowly reach my hands up and touch the corners of his mouth if he lets me and push them into a smile.
Just roll a persuasion check to see if you can get that close.
Please,
I don't,
that one. Please don't that one.
please say, turn your frown upside down as you do it.
please don't net one. Persuasion?
yeah.
14? I'm not the face, but I am cute.
Adorable advantage.
I feel like it's the fur that saves you. Because he doesn't smile even as you're pushing up his face, and you can see that Ambition is just totally bamboozled by what you're doing, and he grunts and he says, "We need to arrange the transfer of your people. First things first, and then we owe it to our own people to make sure that they're not continuing these atrocities that we've committed already."
Okay. Are there other groups besides yours that are raiding?
When our settlement to the west of here was destroyed by the dragon raid after a year ago or so, we dispersed in all directions, and as far as I know, there are 8 of our tribes. We felt that to scatter was better than to gather at this point.
Well, if you decide to join the alliance, we can certainly send word to all of our allies to try to make contact, and maybe we can send them some phrases or words in your language that would help convince them, or some tokens that would be meaningful to your people that would help represent peace. There is still hope. There are still means, but we can worry about that later.
As you're saying all this and having this wrap up to the conversation, can I have both of you roll a perception check? I rolled it for Tanzanite and it was not good.
Oh dear.
15.
Perception. Math. 16.
None of you notice until it's too late. A loud screeching comes from overhead.
Oh, crap.
As a green dragon streaks in, snatches up in its claws Ambition, and reaches over to just bite her in half. And that's where we get to stop today.
Oh!
Because it's the end, and we will roll initiative to start next time.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna kill this thing.
A full-on green dragon, no
Jesus.
real allies present.
Oh dear.
Hope it's not as big as the black dragon that we might be in trouble.
I will give you this. So you see that this dragon, part of the reason why it got so close to you is it was extremely sneaky in all of its sneakiness that it needed to be. But you can tell that it, just like looking at it, it's got like a fin-tailed top, which is very different from the dragon you saw before. It seems younger than the other green dragon that had accompanied Tiamat when you were back on the island of I can't remember the name of it, but that other island. And I think that the island was the Delve of
Mare Beard.
back where the Guns New Hope was. And you can see that this is a slightly younger dragon, but it was using the cover of the kind of swampy beach area to get closer and closer to you, and before it sprang its attack. And yay, green dragon attack.
As a reaction, Trixie throws the potato.
But yeah,
Oh
I
dear.
kept rolling. I kept thinking like, okay, I'm gonna roll another stealth check because this dragon's getting closer. And I was like, it's still above everybody's passives, and people's passives are pretty high. So that's pretty cool. This dragon's
Really?
getting really close.
Jeez, kept rolling above a 19. Yikes.
Mhm. And I was like, I kept thinking like, gotta give them a little bit of warning. I'll roll another stealth check. Okay, I gotta give them a little bit of warning.
Wait.
My passive perception is 20.
Oh, Jace, does your gun not tell you anymore? Do you
Not
not
anymore, no.
have? Oh, boo.
She melted the warning properties off of it.
Sorry, it's all good. You're gonna have a regular initiative roll. There's nothing. The surprise was used on ambition, so you have.
Way to eat the nicest person, or gosh.
Of course, I gotta eat all the nice people. They're delicious. They taste better that way.
Mm-hmm.
But
Let me leave people with one real life thing. If you
yes.
haven't already, go vote on Tuesday. I don't even care who you vote for. I promise. Just go vote. I know we get political on here, so truly, like I think it's just important that everybody exercises their right to vote. And if you live in a place where they're making it harder for other people or people who look like you to vote, don't go alone. And know how to report that kind of behavior and actions, and just go vote.
Also, if you like our show, today was a little bit low key, and we were down a cast member, but feel free to like, subscribe, and hit bell icons and other random gewgaws and gadgets and other junk on all of the platforms that we're on. We are currently on Twitch, we are on YouTube, and we are on Facebook for our live streams.
I thought about adding Twitter, but I think I don't care anymore.
We're also available at demisecast.com for our podcast, so you can listen to us when you would like to. Subscribe on all the subscribables of podcast land.
We're also
out
at,
there.
At Probability of Demise on TikTok, which I will probably post to again someday. I just haven't.
And we're also
I've had life
on.
events.
We're at Demisecast for Twitter, I think. And
We have a Twitter?
YouTube has recently released quick search tools. We are currently at Demisecast on YouTube. So thank you for joining us. Hope you have a
You
wonderful
mean
day.
Twitch? Demisecast?
Twitch, yes,
Because we don't have a Twitter.
we do.
What?
It just started today.
Ah,
It's tiny. I'll share that information with you.
Okay.
have a good week, everyone.
Thank you. Have a lovely
Okay.
day.
Bye.
Bye.